Shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War III update, all right, in which we take the latest headlines of what's going on in the war and we filter it through the scriptures to let you know that everything that goes on in the world is in the scriptures, number one, and it was written from the end to the beginning. Let's get that real quick. All right. Let's see if we can get this. Oh, it's going to make me. Let's see. Got to do a little. Let's see. Okay, here we go. See if I can get it. Wait, what was it? Isaiah 46:10. Let's get it up here. All right. This is how, when God created the heavens and the earth through His Son Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, here we go. We have a little trouble here. ISAIA 46. Satan wants to fight. It's Isaiah 46:10. Start at 9. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning. Okay? So everything at the end, okay, which we're in the end times right now, but it was written from the very start. In the beginning, right, the Elohim, or what you would call Elohim, God, that word is plural, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. It was created starting with the end. The end was written before the beginning. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So everything written in that Bible was written from the end first to the beginning. Okay? So we know that all of these things are going to happen, or spiritually, these things have already happened. They're just playing themselves out in real time, what they call real time, right? Or linear time. They're playing themselves out on the earth as it is already written in the scriptures. It already happened, but here in the third dimension, it's playing itself out in linear time, all right? And I know that's too deep for you to understand, but continue to watch anyway, and you might learn something, all right? All right, so let's go back to, where were we? 2 Chronicles 15, and what? Where was I? 15 and 6. Okay, here we go. Let's start here. Start at 5. 2 Chronicles 15 and 5. And in those times, in what times? In these times, okay? Yeah, this happened many, many years ago, but there's nothing new, all right, on the face of the earth. Everything is in a cycle. And in this cycle, for example, all right, 100 years ago, there was something called the Roaring Twenties. Well, we're in the Roaring Twenties again. All right, a lot of stuff went down in the Roaring Twenties, right? Well, it's going down right now. And in those times, there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in, but great vexations were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. And nation was destroyed of nation, and city of city, for the Most High did vex them with all adversity. All right, be strong therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. Okay, well, let's check this out in some different versions. In those days, it was not safe to travel about, for all the inhabitants of the lands were in great turmoil. During those dark times, it was not safe to travel. Problems troubled the people of every land. We're coming into a time on the face of the earth that has never been, nor ever shall be. I guess I got to get that real quick, okay? We're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. We're coming into the time of World War III. And even though they just opened everything up in California, guess what? When they lock it back down, again, this time for real, right? People are going to lose their damn minds. Answer me this question. If they lock everything down again, what are people going to do? They're going to lose their damn mind. Okay? All right? In those days, there was no safety for travelers because the residents of the lands had many conflicts. Let's get Daniel real quick. And then we'll get into the war effort. This is Daniel 12. Start at 1. KJV. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Okay? This is what I'm looking for. There shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. All right, let's qualify that. Let's go to Matthew 24, and I believe it's 21. I'm getting good at this now. Matthew 24 and 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Wrap your head around that for a minute. Okay? We're going into Jacob's trouble, right? We're going into Jacob's trouble and World War III. This is 24 and 7. For nation shall rise against nation, this is World War III, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, no food, pestilences, plagues, okay, CV 19, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows, Jacob's trouble. All right? Let's get Jeremiah. Let's see if I get this right. This is Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great. What day? This day. So that none is like it. No day is like this. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved. Who shall be saved? The elect of Israel. Okay, let's get that real quick. Let's just skip up like this. Who shall be saved? What is this? is it? Let's lock it. Isaiah. I'm tripping. Isaiah 45:17. But Israel shall be saved. Who's going to be saved? Israel. But Israel, this is the answer to John 3:16. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. For the world, for God so loved what? The world without end. What world? World of Israel. All right. Anyway, that's another lesson, but the Spirit took us there. All right. Let's go quickly to, might as well go to Revelation. All right, here's where we're at. Revelation 9. All right. Bear with us. Oh, come on. This thing wants to act up, I see. All right. Nice. All right, we're gonna get out of there. It's not acting right. So anyway, let's go to a couple of these sites and get some updates. Let's go to Deep Journal, see if there's anything new from yesterday. 18 hours, 2 days, okay? This was yesterday. I think I saw that, so that's not new. Let's go to Deep Journalists. This is an hour ago, 6 hours ago, 19, okay? Breaking: Iranian bombed drones hit U.S. air base, okay? Had to be in in Iraq. All right, we know about that, all right? Now let's look at this. Breaking news: heavy attack from U.S. to Iran. Let's look at this. All right, 6 hours ago. All right, and over here we got Russian Navy fired shots, UK's warships at Ukraine. All right. So just by looking at both of these headlines, you can see that World War III is underway, even though they haven't declared it yet. All right, and we're just updating. It's just
hey, so check it out. This is
all right. Well, you're not telling me. You said the same thing. You know what? All we can do is report on what we have, and they're not saying this on the mainstream media at all. All right.
Following new attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq. Sites originating from independent comments on the latest news. Websites originating from Iran have been seized by the U.S. government following new attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq.
Okay, and that's cyber warfare. Okay, hacking. All right, ransomware, cyber attacks. This is called asymmetric warfare. Okay, because the war is not going to be fought the way that it was in World War II. They didn't have They didn't have the internet for sure. All right, they might have had some old archaic computers or whatever with no processing power, but today is a different day, so they're fighting in a different fashion. All right, just like when they used to go to war and stand in front of each other and fight, shoot, and then people would die, and then there came what do they call it, guerrilla warfare, or where you'd hide behind the trees and things evolve. All right.
No official statement has yet been made from the U.S. and the Iranian government is baffled. Midday Tuesday Washington, D.C. time. The websites of Iran's Press TV, Al-Alam TV and Al Masira News went offline with a notice posted that appears from the United States government. Al-Alam is also linked with Iran while Al Masira is a network linked with Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis. The notice says that the domain has been seized by the United States government in accordance with a seizure warrant, as part of a law enforcement action by the Bureau of Industry and Security, Office of Export Enforcement and Federal Bureau of Investigation.
This is called asymmetric warfare, all right? You take down somebody. See, if you don't have the missile launch codes, if you could scramble those, then they can't launch their nukes. Who does that? The chariots of Israel, all right? The ones that you call the UFOs, they hover over the silos and all the computers for the launching systems go down, all right? Well, I mean, that's on a different level. That's a celestial level at war with a terrestrial level, all right? But can that happen between men? Yes, it can.
Shortly before this incident, Sabri News, a Telegram news channel associated with the Iraqi Popular Mobilization Units, better
Even this guy right here, all right? Even, what is this? They call themselves, this hacking team, whatever they're called. Anonymous, all right? The advent of Anonymous, that's been going on for a while now. You think that they haven't been scrambling and hacking into, so this asymmetric warfare has been going on for a long time. It's not new, all right? But it's coming to the forefront right now with the shutdown of the pipeline, the meat factory, the train station, or what have you. Who's doing that and why? Because you got to weaken the infrastructure of the country you're going to go do battle with. All right, and you could do that from your own country if you got the hacking skills. All right.
known as Hash al-Shabi, reported that two fixed-wing combat drones laden with explosives had struck targets inside Victory Base early on Tuesday.
You could take control of somebody else's drone. That's what they did in Iran. They landed an American drone in an Iranian. Iran landed an American drone in an Iranian airport and began to, study the design. All right, they were able to take control of the drone. All right, and this was years ago now.
Iran's Press TV reported that Iran reported the attack via this channel means Tehran is likely behind the attack, and the report is a confirmation that it happened or that Iran approved it. This is likely to be the result of recent Iranian attacks on U.S. bases and troops in Iraq.
What's that? Okay, so isn't that a world war? If Iran is striking America, who happens to be in Iraq, is that not world war? And what is the United States doing to retaliate? Didn't Donald Trump kill an ambassador or a general last year in January? Didn't he kill an Iranian general? That's World War III. All right, wake up.
Also, the newly elected Iranian president's very harsh attitude towards the United States may also be part of more sanctions. Do you think this is a U.S. retaliation against
Sanctions is warfare, all right? Before the shooting starts, right, you stop all supplies from coming in so they can't continue to mount their war effort.
Iran's escalating attacks? Does the shutdown of Iranian-backed websites confirm the attack on the Victory Base, or is it an interesting coincidence? Will the U.S. regret withdrawing its air defense systems from Iraq? Is the new president of Iran the source of the attacks on U.S. bases and troops? Now let's examine the details together. The U.S. Justice Department on Tuesday blocked some 36 websites, many of them associated with Iranian disinformation activities.
In other words, when America went into Iraq right after 9/11, instead of going into Saudi Arabia, which is where the supposed bombers came from, or going into Afghanistan. They did go into Afghanistan, but according to Pat Tillman, they went in to secure the poppy fields and get that dope happening. Okay, they didn't go over there to kill Bin Laden. Supposedly it took 10 years or whatever, or they were nursing him back to health or whatever the hell was going on. But they went straight to Iraq. Why? To build these sites, these military bases. Look, Kirkuk, all of these names, right? Basra, uh, uh, Kirkuk, okay, Al Assad. All right, these are names that we know now after years and years of so-called fighting. What are they doing? They're setting up their bases to be able to fight against their enemies. That's what they were doing for the last, 20 years. Okay? Meaning this. World War III was going on then. All right? Wake up.
Now let's examine the details together. The U.S. Justice Department on Tuesday blocked some 36 websites, many of them associated with Iranian.
Now they're set up in Iraq. America is in Iraq using it as a jumping off point, and Iran is knocking them sites out. It's called World War III.
Disinformation activities, a U.S. government source said, adding an official announcement was expected. The source in Washington spoke after notices appeared earlier on Tuesday.
Okay, so that's all we're going to do on that. Let's find some more. All right, breaking news. All right, Russia is fighting against their own people, Ukraine. Why? Because America, after the 1980s, the USSR broke up into pieces, and America went over there and established a foothold, just like they did in Iraq, so that they can be right on the border of Russia and conduct their operations. Is the same thing. So what is Russia doing? It says Russian Navy fired shots. UK's warship at Ukraine. What? Ukraine coast. We can watch that too, but you have to get the idea. World War III's been, or you can say that they've been preparing, but they've been shooting and fighting at each other. Was the Iraq War a preparation? It was, but it was a war. It was a declared war, so that they could take that land and be prepared for their next move, which is to go into Iran. What's his name? General, what's his name? Broke it all the way down. Forget his name. But he broke it down. I have to get that general. Can't think of his name right now. So we'll just keep it going. All right. So let's go into the secret files real quick. And videos. Let's see what's new. 5 hours, 19 hours. Okay, Israel orders forces ready for war with Iran. 19 hours ago. All right. We saw this on the last. I suggest that you go back and watch the video prior to this one being made right now. It was made today. It was called Signs and Times of His Coming. All right, because all of this has to, World War III has everything to do with the one you call God and the one you call Jesus. It all coincides with each other. That's why you can go into the Bible and find all of this stuff, okay? All right, so this was 5 hours ago, and this is about the spiral, right? And them shooting some sort of rocket. And rockets have to do with warfare as well. All right, and this is 5 hours ago. Russian warship fires shots at Royal Navy ship. Royal Navy is the UK. We just read that on Deep Journalists. Okay, so same thing. Here it is again. Russia fires warning shots at British destroyer. So the war is on.
If you wear glasses or contacts,
All right, it's obvious that the war is on.
A Russian ship has fired warning shots at Royal Navy boat HMS Defender, Russian media reports. Russia has fired warning shots at a Royal Navy ship in the Black Sea, Russia's defense ministry said on Wednesday. Border Patrol boat fired warning shots at HMS Defender, and a Su-24M warplane dropped 4 bombs to deter the ship, the defense ministry said. Russia's defense ministry made the claims in a statement reported by the Russian Interfax news agency. Interfax reported, the destroyer was warned in advance that weapons would be fired in case of a violation of the Russian state border. It disregarded the warning. As a result of joint actions of the Black Sea Fleet and the border service of the Russian Federal Security Service, HMS Defender left the territorial sea of the Russian Federation at 12:23 p.m.
Okay, so if you don't understand what's going on, this is in the Black Sea, right? Right here. And you got America's ally, England, or the UK, British, right? Over in the Black Sea, standing off with each other. While over off the coast of Hawaii, you got Russia over there blowing up destroyers or having war games of destroying aircraft carriers, while the Americans sit off in the distance and basically pull guard, waiting for the real strike to go down. All right. So how soon is it going to be before this thing goes down? Well, let's find out if this thing is going to actually do what it's supposed to do. Okay, here we go. Revelation 9 took forever. Revelation 9 and 12. The first woe, all right, meaning World War, has passed. Behold, 2 wars are still to follow. Everything up here is dealing with World War I. Then it says, this is the end of World War I. The first woe has passed. Woe meaning destruction, or in this case, World War. Behold, 2 woes are still to follow. Now, if we jump to 11, Revelation 11, okay, all right, all of that has to do with World War II, all right? And Revelation 11 and 14 says, now the second woe has passed. You understand? And then it says, behold, the third woe is coming shortly. Wait, what is this? That's Berean. Same thing. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right? Well, here we are. It's all in the Bible. All right? Everything is in here. All right? And we can get further in depth. We did that yesterday. All right? If you want to get into what's going to happen in the Third World War, they're going to be fighting and killing each other. And then the UFOs, right, are going to get into the battle. Now, they're supposed to, in June, they're supposed to release some congressional report, right? The Pentagon is supposed to release a report on what's actually going on that they've been lying about all of this time, since 1947. Oh, it was a weather balloon. Now they're supposed to come forward and say, okay, here's what they really are, which they're not going to do. And they're not going to be able to show you that here's the war. Here's the UFOs, the war in heaven, meaning in the sky, all right? And there was a war in heaven. Let's look at that. What heaven? All right, and there was a war in heaven, and there was a war in heaven. Then a war broke out in heaven. Let's look at some of these other ones. Heaven, heaven. And there was a great battle in heaven. How about this? New Heart English Bible. There was a war in the sky. This level of heaven is talking about the skies above. There was a war in the sky, right? World English Bible. There was a war in the sky. Okay? Between the UFOs and the fighter jets. Okay? And they're not going to break out and tell you that. But we can go through these scriptures and find out there was a war. And what happened? What happened in the war? This is what happened. The Archangel Michael. Well, let's go back one, Salakia. There was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Now we go forward. And what happened? And prevailed not. Who prevailed not? The dragon and his angels. The blue angels. The fighter jets. They prevailed not. Then they got destroyed, and all their infrastructure, satellites and space stations and space forces and all of that shit, space hotels, whatever the hell they got up there in low Earth orbit, they shot that shit right out of the sky. All right? And here it is. And the great dragon was hurled down. Hurled down, what does that mean, hurled down? All right? And the great dragon was hurled down. The great dragon was thrown down to the earth with all his angels, was thrown down to the earth, hurled down to the earth, thrown down to the earth, was cast out into the earth, cast to the earth, thrown down to the earth. That means they got shot out of the sky. All right? He was thrown down to the earth and his angels with him. They got their asses whooped in the fight. Okay, it's pretty simple. It says, yes, that old snake and his angels were thrown out of heaven, out of the sky. They got shot down. They were destroyed. Let's see. Cast down to the earth, thrown down, hurled down, cast forth. All right. Now they use this scripture to say that Satan fought against God in God's heaven, and as a result of that, no, it's not talking about that. The old serpent called the devil, he who is called the devil and Satan, the ancient serpent is talking about a man or a nation of men. Okay? It's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, it's talking about his physical counterpart. All right? So don't believe the lie. Oh, well, Satan had a fight with God, and God sent him down to the earth. No, that's not what that means. All right? Just keep watching the videos, and you'll find out what the truth is. Go back and watch the rest of the videos, and you'll find out. All right, so anyway, that's pretty much it. All right? That's pretty much it on that. We can get further, and we can go to 2nd Ezra 15. We did that yesterday. So just go watch yesterday's video, and you'll find out, more about the war in heaven, who wins and how. All right? but it's pretty cut and dry. All right? Go back and watch the videos, and the scriptures are going to explain. All right? Line upon line, precept upon precept, if you want to know the truth. Because some of you people are coming here just because it says World War III update. All right? But it all comes together. All right? Why do you think they're hiding the UFOs? Okay? Don't you know that Jesus, the one they called Jesus, was beamed up into a UFO? Don't you know that? You go to church and your pastor hasn't told you that? Well, let's see. This is the book of Acts. All right, the UFOs are complete through through the Bible. Okay, let's see. All right, all of this is speaking of the one they call Jesus. All right. But when you get to 9, it says, and when he had spoken these things, when who had spoken these things? When Jesus, he was speaking to the disciples. All right. He said, and he said unto them, who's he? All right. Lord. Okay. Wait for the Holy Spirit. He said, and being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem. Who is they? Who commanded them? Jesus commanded them and said, wait. Okay? Right? And then it says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Who asked him that? The disciples. And he said to them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons, which the Father, who's that talking? That's Jesus. All right. Now, when he had spoken these things, what things? These things, while they were looking, while they beheld, he, who is he? Jesus, was taken up. He was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Okay. Oh, look at this cloud right here. He's in a cloud. No. Okay, ascension. What does it mean to ascend? It means to go up. He ascended up into a cloud. And a cloud received him out of their sight. Let's look at 9. And a cloud hid him. No. While they were watching, they could no longer see him. A cloud took him out of their sight. He was lifted up, and a cloud hid him from their eyes. That's wrong. Received him. A cloud received him out of their sight. It took him inside of the cloud. What is the cloud? Okay. Received him out of their sight. Received him. Same thing that happened to Elijah. He went up by a whirlwind into heaven, into the sky, into the cloud. All right. Moses went up into the cloud, into the mount. Okay. He was taken up into a cloud. Into. No, they couldn't see him because he got beamed up into, beam me up, Scotty. Okay. And then they said, 2 men stood by them. Let's go to it. And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, these 2 angels, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, whose name is Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into. He's going to come back the same way you saw him go. How did he go? A cloud. He went with a cloud. He said, when he comes back, you're going to see him come, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into. He's going to come back the same way. Well, let's prove what's going on here. The book of Revelation 1. Let's talk about the second coming. Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he, who's he? Jesus, cometh with clouds. He's coming back. And every eye shall see him. Why is every eye going to see him? Let's qualify what these clouds are. They're the UFOs, as in swing low, sweet chariot. Psalm 104 and 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretchest out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Here's the UFOs in the Bible. I'm showing them to you. Jesus got beamed up into what? A chariot. Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh the angels his spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. The clouds being spoken of are chariots. Okay? A pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. A great cloud enfolding itself. Let's lock it. It's Ezekiel 1. Let's go to 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and the brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, the pilots of the cloud. And this was their appearance. They were little green men. No. They had the likeness of a man. They look like a man. Just like Jesus, who got beamed up into the great cloud. Okay? We could do this all day. All right, but this is just a sign from the Spirit that we know what we're talking about in these scriptures. And we're showing you what is about to happen on the face of the earth with this World War III. Okay? How the angels are going to get involved in it. All right? They're going to get involved. There's going to be a fight. Plain and simple. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified. Tomorrow's Thursday. There's going to be another daily report. I'll try to be more concise. Hope that the elect were edified, and until then, shalom.